I was at church today, and this lovely couple that were sitting behind me, and they've been married for quite a while, and they have three little boys. And one of the little boys, the youngest boy, while the mass was ending, sounded like a demon. Initially, it sounded all right, but the third child was like rustling around and making lots of noise, and the voice became essentially, it sounded like a demon talking. Now, where am I going with this? I forgot where I was going with this too. But so trading is a very, very fascinating thing, and I have to tell you that trading is incredibly fascinating. Fascinating in part because it ties in everything that I've questioned about. It's like, why do people do that? Why did the people say that? Why did this professional say that initially what you want to do is start small? Because you're gonna lose anyway. And then you, as you become bigger, then you can scale up, and then you can make money. That's what a top tier SMB capital pro day trader says, right? So now I see why. So that's why he said that. And and some of the quite a few other day traders who have their own noteworthy chats. They say things like, just trade one contract, right? Just go on the demo, go on the sim and run it, right? These are professionals who say, hey, yeah, after now that I've become good, go back to simulation, and take care of it there, because it'll save you a lot of money. Think about it. I've been trading for about 22 years, and the heartache, the money that I've lost, the countless potential cars that I could have bought, the handbags that I could bought for my ex-wife. I would still have my ex-wife, I think. Well, my wife, I think. I think, I think if I were to have been in simulation, I would have saved my marriage. I think, maybe. Nah, nah, nah. I need to improve on my personality. That's a totally different subject matter. So all these things are pointing to a single point, which is its development. There's books written about becoming an expert in a subject matter, and it takes about 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours is how long it takes for an infant to grow up to becoming good at something. And it's I am an infant. Yeah, really, in day trading. I see. Okay, so this is I have this Android phone, Pixel 6, staring at me, and it's being recorded. This, and in fact, looks very similar to a rear view mirror. So I'm in my car and I'm looking at myself. Look at this guy. This guy, his face is almost wrinkled up. He's got facial hair, right? And his nose is big because it's grown for 53 years. And he's got glasses that are more professional, and he has this weathering pattern, and he's got scratches from years and years of hard living. He's got this wrinkles up on his forehead, right? On your forehead. So I'm looking at this man who's 53 years old, who has fathered two children, and who has managed to essentially just shove off his wife, now an ex-wife, and alienated her, and things like that, and I've come to a crossroad at this point, and then finally chose my faith. And here's this man. This is a man who goes to wash dishes and lugs around like 100 pounds of things, and gets things done real fast. Runs from one corner of the store to the other corner of the store, picking through trash, digging through things that the customers have thrown. this is a man who's staring back at me, and I finally realized, and I sent this email to my Catholic deacon. He hasn't responded. I hope I did not alienate him. So here I am. I'm like, here I am, and that's what I see, right? That's what I see. In reality, the subject matter of looking at myself in the rearview mirror is because I made a trade that cost a lot of money, right? And so I'm attempting to talk to myself. I'm attempting to talk to myself who is 53 years old, but in reality, what's happening is that when it comes to day trading, essentially, I'm an infant. And here I am, a grown man, the logical side of me who's talking to an infant and trying to scold that infant, trying to understand why I did those things that I did so that my account imploded. Now, within like a week and a half, my account is at 40% of what it used to be. So I'm trying to explain to this, and essentially what I'm doing is I'm actually explaining to an infant, in a day trading infant. And so all the professionals are talking about that, but they don't use the word infant because it's a sophisticated use of words. They're using sophisticated level words that they are accustomed to because they are adults they are Wall Street adults, right? They're Wall Street adults, and they speak in a language that is adult Wall Street language. For me, I have to get there in order to say, yeah, I could stand toe to toe with them and say when we exchange, they'll say something and I'll understand. However, at this stage of this game, I'm having to gain experience, exposure, loss of 60% of my account in order to take a step back and say to myself, okay, who am I? So I'm looking at myself being recorded, and I'm looking at this 53-year-old man in reality in day trading world, because I've just become I just became serious about day trading, and in reality I'm talking to an infant, and there's no reason for me to talk to an infant, because if an adult made that mistake, an adult conversation would be like this. I would say, hey, you did this, let's make a change and let's fix it, and the next day I would do that. That is how a Wall Street adult talk to another Wall Street adult. But the behaviors that I have, placing an infant in front of a TD Ameritrade account and clicking through and expecting that infant to instantly make millions, is essentially a foolish thing. I now know why, S&B Capital, they're a wealth of knowledge. The futures, there was an interview of the futures, what is he? Futures, head of futures. He's the head of futures, and he said to me, boy, people think that his words were like, people think that I'm like stoic or something, but he started admitting that, he used to tear himself up apparently when he made these mistakes early on in his career. And he said this. He said, I was probably the last person who would be good, who would be good at day trading. That's what he said. And now I see it. Now I see it. When I lay down things upon myself, I'm looking at myself. I'm like looking at myself. I'm looking at this guy who's 53 years old and making these very, very intriguing mistakes, and I'm thinking to myself, how is that possible? How is that possible? It is because in the development world of a day trading world, I am only an infant, and expecting an infant to click through things to make everything click together and make sense of everything, it requires lots of studies and lots of experience. That's why. So, this video is actually for me. But if somebody happens to like catch this video, I hope you stumble onto this. I hope you stumble onto this so that you catch the message that I placed for myself. Essentially, I am an infant in day trading initially. Even if you're the brightest person on earth initially, the brightest person will finish the 100-meter race just like Usain Bolt. However, for most of us, we'll probably get a halfway through, we'll get a hernia or something. Okay. So yeah, this is so important to me. Now I will not now I understand why things happen like this to me. So what I have to do is keep studying, and eventually I will grow up within the Wall Street world so that the money will start to flow in. And when the money starts flowing in, the first money that I would take out of that vault is my own money that I placed in there many years ago, and recently as this year.